we are going to talk about searching, and we're going to talk about auto email searches, saved searches, and then how to use carts. So first, you're going to start off doing your search. So we're going to go into search and single family, and you're going to put in all of your buyers' criteria. So typically is going to be the coming soons and actives. Down here, we tend to leave out the contingencies so that they are not looking at homes that already have an offer contingent upon anything like an inspection. So we'll put that in as well. Then we're also going to pop over into the middle section and put in the state of Minnesota, because most of your clients are going to be looking in whichever state, Wisconsin or Minnesota. But we want to make sure, just because there are some of those cities that may reflect other locations like Iowa, Illinois, any of those. So we want to make sure that we get Minnesota in there if that's where they are looking. And then we're going to jump down to municipality. Sometimes they're going to say their cities that they want to be located in which case we can just start filling in our cities within there as well. If they do want single family, you can very easily come down here and put a check mark into the single family section as well. Then we'll hop up over on the right-hand side and we'll start putting in some of their other criteria, like how many bedrooms and bathrooms, maybe garage stalls, and then, of course, price points. Now, in our price points, we can always put in a price range or under a certain amount if they're $450 and under, for example. But we definitely want to make sure that we're putting in what they are qualified for. So I'm just going to throw in a range at the moment. Now, when entering in any of your price points, you do not need all of the commas or all of the remainder of the zeros. It's basically either 350 plus, 450 minus, whatever their circumstance happens to be. Note that at any time you can come in and change any of this information based upon their criteria that they are looking for. Also, when entering in those bedrooms and bathrooms, you want to make sure that you are putting in what they are currently looking for. Whether it's 3+ bedrooms, you want to make sure to get the 3+ in there. The plus is a wild card so that it's not just looking for just a 3-bedroom home. Typically, your buyers aren't going to be that specific and say, I need just a 3-bedroom home. They're going to say at least so many bedrooms and so many bathrooms. The system, with so many listings within here, you want to make sure that you are telling the system exactly what it is that you're looking for. Otherwise, your search can be too big or too exact, and it's going to obviously narrow it down. As you're filling in some of those things that your buyers are wanting, you can see down here at the bottom that it's already calculating for you how many properties are currently out there that they are looking for with this criteria. Once you are done putting in all of their criteria, you can go ahead and click on the results button. And that will bring you to our one-line single agent list. And in this list of homes, this is how we would go about setting up that auto email or a saved email. Now, the differences between the two of them would be the auto email is going directly to your client anytime that you have a new listing or a new property meets their criteria. It's going to go to them automatically. A saved search is you coming in periodically and checking to see if there is anything new that meets their criteria, and then being able to select it and emailing it to them directly. So we come down here to the bottom, across from the actions, there is the save button. Once we click on the save button, we have the new saved search and a new auto email search. So again, we'll start with the saved search, but that is a search that is going to save all of your criteria for you, so you do not have to come in here each and every time and see what, or you are going to have to come in here each time to see what is new that could potentially meet their criteria. Everything in yellow is required, so you do need to name that physical search. So maybe you say homes for Hazes. And then if your client is in here already, you can select them. Otherwise, you can create them as a new contact as well, so that when you are selecting them in this search, it is going directly to them. So you do need to have a first name and a last name. So we will put me in here. and then just make sure that you click on the save button so that it saves their information into the saved search. Once you have selected that contact, since I'm in here already, I'm going to go ahead and select me. Now I can enable it to put it as my favorite search, which is a box on your dashboard. That just gives you easy access so that you do not have to come up and open up that search by coming into the My Matrix and then coming to your saved searches. It would actually be on your dashboard, which is your home screen to NorthstarMLS, so you have easy access to it. So if you would like to do that, you can put a check mark in this box, and now it will be saved also to your dashboard so you have easy access. It saves all of the criteria that you have for your clients listed here. And once you click save, it is now going to be in your saved searches and also on that dashboard as well. To set up an auto email, you're going to click on the new auto email. And once again, if your client is not in here already, you're going to create a new contact by entering the first name, last name, and an auto email. But I will tell you that if you have more than one client, for example, a husband and wife, a significant other that wants to be on this list and receive the list at the same time as each other and still both be able to, in one home when they're receiving it, if they want to both be able to tag a property as their favorite or leave you a note within there as well, or a note so the other person can see it as well as far as their end goes, you do need to add the first email address and then do a semicolon and then add in the next email address. That way they are both getting this email at the same time and they are both physically able to interact within the one home itself. So once you have that, then of course you would click on the save button. Again, you do need first name and last name. So if you are adding both of them together, you would just put in their first names in the first name spot and then their last name, of course, into the last name and click on save. This way here, both of them will be able to get that email. The other person, if you do put them as a CC, they will get the email, but they won't be able to interact within that one home. So they won't be able to select something as a heart, meaning their favorite. They won't be able to respond with a note for all of us to be able to interact together within them. So again, you're going to put your contacts in. And since I am already in here, we're going to just grab me very quickly. I do like to BCC myself on all of the emails that go out to my clients, just so that if I am not on the computer on a regular basis and I'm out showing houses, it's coming through my email. And when I am pulled over and checking through what I would need to take care of, I can quickly see those new ones coming through. And then I can either give them a call as I'm back on the road or send them a quick message and say, you know, this one's coming on Friday. I think we need to get it in there. What time might you be available? So I do like to be able to send it to myself as well. Then I typically put in for the subject, homes from myself here, so that they know it's coming from me. The system does already have a welcome message built into here, and the one home tells them a little bit about how the one home works, and they have a few steps that they can walk through that tells them how they can interact with you within that one home and things that they could do. So for example, marking them as a favorite or putting them in a trash bin, sending a note to you through the system as well, so that that is tagged on that listing specifically. There is a reoccurring email that will go out as well. It is currently blank. If you do want to edit either one of them, there is an edit button for you to go ahead and make any changes to either one of those messages if you prefer. Then our email signature, if you have not set up an email signature as of yet, you can click on the edit and get that set up as well. All of the one home stuff and your email signature and your CMA cover page, that is all done under the setting, under the My Information. So if you have not done that as of yet, you may want to go in there and get those set up. Once again, it saves all of your criteria for you so that they can see on their side as well what you currently have scheduled into their auto email that's coming out to them. Then under settings, you can enable concierge mode. Concierge mode, if you do select it, what will happen is the system will actually email it to you first, and then you can review the property and decide at that point if you want to send that property to them. So then you would select that property and say to go ahead and email that to your client. Some people prefer that concierge mode versus just sending them any new listings that tend to come through, but a little example of how that would work. Once again, reverse prospecting. If you like the old system, it was automatically defaulted that it would show in reverse prospecting. And all that is allowing other agents to see that you as a realtor have a client that is looking for something that meets their listing. So it does not tell anything about the client whatsoever. It simply is just telling them that there's another agent who has buyers looking for the same criteria as your listing, so then you can reach out to that agent directly. You can use it on the seller side as far as more advertising, maybe inviting people to open houses or doing price reductions, send your clients over. They will automatically get that email if they are on that same search to begin with, but it's just one more touch point for you to be able to reach out to other agents to try to advertise that something is occurring within that particular property, whether it's the new listing, an open house, price reduction, whatever it may happen to be. Then again, we can put this as one of our favorite searches on our home dashboard, which is the MLS home page in general. So if this is something that you tend to use most frequently, do note that you can put a check mark in there as well and have that on your dashboard for easy, quick access. Then we get down to scheduling them. How often do I want to schedule this to go out to my clients? I typically do ASAP so that anytime a new listing gets saved as an active new listing, whether it's active or coming soon, if it meets their criteria, it's going to go automatically and send that email to them. But you can choose a schedule instead. So sometimes different times of the year might be busier than others. Could they potentially get an email, say XYZ Realty saves a new listing as an active listing and it meets their criteria? It's going to run that algorithm in the background and it's going to disperse to everybody that it needs to who has that auto email that meets that criteria. Say 10 minutes later, another company, ABC Realty, saves a new listing that happens to meet the criteria for that client as well. They will get another email 10 minutes later with that new email as well. Now, not necessarily are all the photos generally uploaded at that point too. So sometimes some clients say, yes, set me up as ASAP. And then they'll text me or they'll send me a little note through the one home and say, I'd really love to see more pictures. So I happen to laugh sometimes because the system is that quick and that good about as soon as it is saved as an active listing, no matter what is happening on the backside, it is running and sending out all of those auto emails. So if it is an ASAP situation, do know they could get a few back to back right away, just depending on the circumstance. Otherwise, you can also set it as a daily schedule as well, and you could have it go out in the morning, or you could have it all come out in the evening as well. But I think this is a great opportunity too for some of those people that aren't out there, are out there, but say they have a lease that goes for another 6 months and they're just starting to look. Could I set this up to be a weekly email that goes out to them, say every Friday afternoon? The answer would be yes. That way there you are still dripping on them. Maybe you set it up for a couple times a week. Maybe you have it set to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then it will send them any of those new listings that meet that criteria for them on those certain days. So you can pick and choose how often you'd like to do it. And then again, too, some people I have set up on a monthly email, and that really is for some of those people who like to keep an eye on certain areas, maybe see what the market is doing. Maybe it's what we tend to refer to sometimes as tire kickers who haven't really made up their mind quite where they want to be yet, or haven't really truly started venturing out there to look quite yet. But I send those to them on a monthly basis instead, and the answer to that would be yes. So decide how it is that you would like these sent out to your client, make that decision in the schedule, and then click on that save button so that they are going out. They will receive that one home email from you stating these are the homes that meet their criteria. And as soon as they click on that link, that starts that whole activity to start in. Now, a couple of things about the auto email. If you decide that you need to make changes to that auto email, you would come into the My Matrix tab up above and click on the auto email and look for that auto email that you just sent out to your clients. Click on that header and then come into their criteria and go ahead and make any changes that you would need to make in regards to that, whether it's price points or the bedrooms, whatever it may happen to be. Once you've made those changes, you can go ahead and click on save, and then it's going to always bring you back to the settings page. If you scroll down, if you need to change anything here, maybe they mentioned that ASAP, there just seems to be so many that are coming through their email and they just don't know which one to click on anymore. You could change their schedule, but then just don't forget to click on that save. They will get an email that some of their criteria has been changed so that they know that you've went in and made those changes to their system. But once you click save, they are going to get that new email letting them know that that has now taken place. Last but not least, I want to talk about those carts. Lots of ways to use carts. So, for example, if you have not used carts before, I want you to think of it as a storage place. Carts is a great way for you to not have to print out tons of different listings, moving them from a cart into, for example, say that you go on a listing appointment and you want to be able to keep an eye on what's kind of going on in their neighborhood. Instead of setting up an auto email, you could just move some of those listings over to a cart so that you can access that cart at any point, whether it's on your dashboard or anytime that you're in a search, you can always come down and view any of those carts. Another reason why you might want to move them into a cart or save them for later is maybe you're planning to take your clients out over the weekend to go look at some properties, but of course they're texting you in between because most of them are coming soon, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And they're texting you saying, yes, let's go look at this one. Yes, let's go look at this one. And you don't want to have to keep scrolling back through your text messages to find which properties it was that they wanted to see. You can then create a cart and move those properties over into the cart. So to do carts, you would simply click on the carts button. You'd come over to your new cart. You need to name that cart. So whether it's for showings, you could say showings for Hayes. Select your client or create a new client if they're not already in here, and then click on save. And now we need to mark the properties that we want to have moved into this cart. So as of right now, I currently have 0 listings in this cart, but I have selected the 2 that I want to move into this cart. And now I can click on add to. And it's going to put both of those listings into that cart for me so that at any point I can access that cart, whether it's on Thursday so that I can go ahead and select all of them that we're going to show over the weekend, and I can throw each and every one of those into a showing cart and get those routed out and scheduled appropriately for when we would be able to be there to view those properties. Or in the other circumstance, if I'm doing a CMA, if I need to add more listings into my CMA that I kind of saved for later, once again, it's just eliminating me from having to print all of these pieces of paper of all these properties. It's kind of just storing them into this cart that I can then use in my CMA and move those properties over into that CMA at that point. Lots of different ways to use this. It's just one more added feature just to have even available to us, but some people like to set them up as auto emails and leave them that way. I just wanted to show you and talk about what those are. You do still have access to My Carts through your My Matrix tab, so you can see your carts at any time, and you can delete any of those carts at any time simply by selecting that particular cart and then choosing delete. The system will always ask you, are you sure that you really meant to do that? And you would just click OK. Otherwise, at any time, you can access those carts as well, and they're just clicking on their name or the header of that actual cart and then clicking on results, and it will bring open that particular property. This example here is for sometimes I think it's a great way to keep an eye on how things are selling in the market as well. So say, for example, you lost in a couple of multiple offers on a particular property, and the agent referenced that you were oh so close to that being the offer that was chosen. You can move those properties into a cart. You can reflect back on it and give you an idea of knowing what it actually closed for when it does close, so that you can see too just how much are people overbidding on a particular property in order to get it, or what kinds of things are happening in the market. Because we can simply always come in then and click on that MLS ID number. It'll show us what it was listed for, what it actually sold for, and then of course if there was any seller concessions, so you can reflect back to the offer that you presented and what kinds of things to do or not to do for the next offer that you are running for that particular client. Great ways to be able to just still know what's going on in the market. Maybe some people tend to use this too if you're going out to broker opens on Tuesdays, moving them kind of over into a basket of your broker opens and seeing just how quickly certain areas might be selling, what they're selling for, how much over asking price, is there any seller concessions, what kind of closing dates are there. Just gives you a little bit more of that market information and a little bit more knowledge of what's going on in those particular areas as well.